Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is another Hollywood celebrities dropping like flies.
They're dropping like flies.
Listen, people are dropping like flies out there.
I am
Boop.
pissed off.
We're dropping like flies around here.
We're dropping like flies here. Jeez, sir, 2 more just went down. Dropping like flies.
Too many people around here been dropping like flies already, and where's that getting us, huh? Nowhere. Fast.
Biden's being Biden's being an extremist.
Crush that fly.
You know, I'm going to start here. I haven't made these videos in a while. First of all, you know, the shadow banning, subscribe, resubscribe, comment, leave thumbs up, probably the best thing, easiest thing to do. Comment can be as simple as an emoji. Any possible way to let YouTube know that you're still interested in seeing this content. I was a little disappointed in the amount of views. Like, I don't get disappointed about stuff, but I made a video, a 9/11 video before this video. And it has unique coverage of the 9/11 event, which to me is the biggest thing. You know, there's a lot of people who are who woke up after that event, like after, you know, years afterwards, and never really understood the significance of that event. And, you know, my videos have unique takes on them. I redid my videos from years and years ago, and I posted it, and it got 3,000 views. So this video wasn't monetized. YouTube wouldn't monetize it. But so a lot of people donated generously, so, you know, the video paid for itself, which is great. But in terms of the, you know, the view count, I mean, you know, I usually average, I think, around 4,000 or 5,000 views here. And so I'm not sure whether people weren't notified. You know, I talked about it on my other channel. I really went out of my way to promote this video. I think I even put it on Twitter. And so, you know, whatever. Like, I'm not, you know, complaining, just kind of bummed that people don't care about that event and the video itself. But let's get into this. Another Hollywood celebrities dropping like flies. I'm going to do these from time to time. This might be a little bit longer video. Let's start with this guy, Tua Tagovailoa, who seems like a nice guy from the, you know, one of the more humble quarterbacks and players on that Hard Knock show from last year. But he's had a concussion problem. And so he's scrambling here. So this is from, his fingers did this when he played the Bengals years ago. And the game before that, he got a concussion against the Bills, but they didn't catch it, the team. And then he did this, and people freaked out, right? Because this is a, you know, a hand motion you do if you have a, you know, head injury. And so this was the one from maybe 3 weeks ago. So this is Damar Hamlin, the guy who had a cardiac arrest when he played on Monday night. You know, was that 2 years ago, I guess? Right when COVID was, you know, the end of COVID. So there was a connection, few things here. I've covered Tua's multiple concussions. He got a concussion, like I said, against Buffalo, but they didn't call it a concussion. And then the next week he got one against Cincinnati, and it looked horrible. And people said he should retire then. I think that was from 2 years ago when this also happened to Damar Hamlin. And, you know, they play twice a year because they're in their same division. But still, this, you know, this hit here, which is going to knock Tua out, is from a guy who himself suffered cardiac arrest. And then he got an interception, his first interception, Damar Hamlin did, when the last Monday night or 2 Monday nights ago, and there's 2 games on. And the other game was in Cincinnati. Now, the guys who called it, Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, they called the game where Damar Hamlin got the cardiac arrest. And they were calling the opposite game in Cincinnati, and they started talking about how Damar Hamlin had done so much. You know, he had trained kids in how to do CPR and shit like that. Although he never addressed the you know, the big elephant in the room, which was how did he, you know, what happened to get the concussion. But here you see Tua goes in there, and his head bends back. That's the hit. You can clearly see he got hit there. Let me show you this here. This is that's after the play here. Let's go back a little bit further. And so he So he's coming in there, boom. He goes down, and then he has these weird hand motions again. And it just looked bad. And the guy's had, I think, 5 or 6 concussions, and he just crumbles, and he just doesn't play smart. He's not, a big guy, and like the way he took that hit, you gotta get down. It's it's not what you're supposed to do. And so, these things are all connected, is what I'm saying, and it's coming around again. Of course, they have those heart-safe schools now. So this is from Died Suddenly. New Georgia's Rockdale County has ordered 90,000 residents to shelter in place indefinitely. The EPA and the state-level EPD testing has confirmed chlorine is being vaporized and spread throughout the region. Americans 20 miles away are reporting smelling chlorine in the air. Highway traffic will be impacted while ports are going on strike. October surprises have begun. Well, that is whatever it is. But here it is. You can see there, like this is chlorine vapor going in. That can't be good, right? So, those places are like hells right now. I covered a little bit in my other video. People have commented who are in that region. There's places there they can't get access to support because bridges have been washed out. I mean, it's a real national disaster. And we're going to see a lot of these things. Like they're going to hit one after another. And there's not going to be enough resources to spread around. And people are going to have to get used to lifestyles that aren't the same as what they have now. Dikembe Mutombo, NBA legend and Hall of Famer, dies of brain cancer at age 58. And so a lot of athletes here. There's a lot of people who have been sending me things. I've saved some of them. I don't have all of them, but I'll go through the Die Suddenly at the end. There's a service. Science discovered a third state beyond life and death in a breakthrough that could redefine legal death. The third state sees cells that gaining new capabilities they didn't have in death. And so what's happening here is when the body dies, some of the portion of the body is still alive, the cells and things like that, right? And so, zombification. Broadway star Gavin Creel dies at 48, 2 months after cancer diagnosis. And so I think my wife just sent me that today. Just, lots of these things. So let's start here first, and then we'll go do the died suddenly. I haven't covered that in a while. Lizzo slams Ozempic accusations after showing off weight loss transformation. There she is there. And so she lost a bunch of weight. And she was always about accepting herself the way she was. And now apparently she's lost weight, probably from something to do with Ozempic or something. But, Brett Favre tells Congress he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's. And then another quarterback came forward saying he has Alzheimer's because of the amount of headshots they took out of the years. Concussions. Florida doctor accused of fatally removing wrong organ from patient has license suspended. Shit like that happens all the time. In Alabama's liver instead of his spleen, he took out the guy's fucking liver. And he was supposed to take out his spleen. That is freaking bad. But shit like that happens. Cheryl Hines celebrates 59th birthday with daughters amid husband RFK Jr.'s sexting scandal. Me and my girls. So there's a lot of headlines here from the New York Post. Cheryl Hines is no pushover, likely fuming over husband RFK Jr.'s alleged affair with political star Olivia Nunzi, a source said. There they are together, the couple. And I think Olivia Nunzi is here. Now, they had a weird relationship where it was just, he did an interview with her and he hit on her and she dismissed it, but then they started to have some sort of a online relationship that wasn't physical, but where they both said they loved each other. And he said that she was stalking him. A representative for him said that she was stalking him and he blocked her. But then she said she had pivotal information that could help his campaign, so he unblocked her. But then she proceeded to stalk him again, and he was going to sue her. But then she shared all of her texts, and apparently she was also engaged to another dude. And like this guy here, she's weird. She's got a weird voice as well. I'm not going to show you that because, whatever. But he seems to date women who have an annoying voice. So I think it's like, his type because of his own situation. We'll get back to RFK Jr. in a second. Matt Lauer's daughter, Rami, crashed into Hampton's fence and fled, but left her license plate behind for the cops to find. There she is. And more of this guy here. RFK Jr. seems great amidst sexting scandal as Senate nutrition talk with Dr. Jordan B. Thompson and Jillian Michaels. And so this guy's a mess. I mean, he's just an absolute mess. And the page 6 really hates him. And there she is again, the woman there. There she is there. Weird looking, there she is with her fiance. And then she got embarrassed by the whole, the love bomb. RFK Jr. and star journalist Olivia Nunzi had incredible FaceTime sex, said they loved each other, sources said. And so he love bombed her, and she quickly fell in. Well, I guess he hit on her, and she didn't like it, but then he love bombed her, and she quickly fell so madly in love with him. She lived a double life for nearly a year, sharing her long calls, endless texts, and virtual sex with the former presidential candidate, all the while engaged to her partner for almost a decade. And that she's still in love with him. He said he might sue her. This is that article here. RFK Jr. may sue Olivia Nunez. Writer bombarded him with increasingly pornographic pics and videos, report says. But then she released her stuff, and that stopped happening. So, it's just, that guy's a real scumbag because of that, RFK Jr. accused of having a romantic relationship with at least 3 other women amid Olivia Nunzi affair, report says. He had affairs with 26 women right before his wife committed suicide, and he wrote about it in a diary, and, he kept tabs on all of his affairs, and his wife got hold of the diary. And so, he's just a mess. Cheryl Hines may divorce RFK Jr., but it won't be over Donald Trump more than Olivia Nunzi. And so, there's that. So the died suddenly thing has, worn out. I mean, there's people who are still obsessed by the vax and the vax injured. And there are people who are waking up because of personal issues and family members. But this is something, I said this before, that this will fade. And people have moved on to the election and other things. Of course, we're on the verge of World War III, and the hurricane's a big new thing, and all these people here. But these people are still dying, right? These are, the ones that are being documented. Some of these are young kids. And, I'll just go through this thing here. And it's going to get worse. I mean, it's not, if it's related to all the things that, you can guess at, it would be 5G, the vax, and COVID. Those are the things that have been, some of these people, somebody sent me some of these things. Some of these people are famous. Most of them are young. They're dying unnaturally. And, there's just like a phenomenal, increase in deaths, a large increase in deaths among younger people of turbo cancer and heart-related issues. And it just fades. Like I said, these things just fade because people lose interest. And the problem isn't going to go away. It gets, and somebody like Shannon Doherty, like she passed away at 53. Now, she had cancer for years, but a lot of people are getting cancer. There's somebody in my sort of direct circle, one of my wife's relatives who has gotten, who had cancer, and then a lot of people who had cancer are getting it again. And, related to this big thing that happened, the vax or whatever it is, right? And, it's just forgotten about. It's not being investigated. People have lost interest in it. They've just accepted it as this being the new normal. Of course, I've covered how they now have heart-safe schools and they're putting defibrillators into schools. It's normal for young people to have heart attacks, and so this is just what's up, right? And they just go through there. Like I don't even recognize any of these ones, so I haven't seen a lot of these people. Some of these things were sent. I mean, just look at this. It just goes on forever, and these aren't that far long ago. I don't remember the last time I looked at this, maybe 6 months ago. But there's just all these people, and these people have loved ones, and sometimes they have kids or they are kids. I mean, it's devastating families. And these are just the ones we know about, right? Or the ones that are being reported on, or the ones that they've collected here. And, do you remember so many athletes and young people dying like this? This is like a completely new thing. And yet, it's just been accepted. And like that's the sort of tragedy of the internet and people's limited attention spans. Everybody moves on. And in the truth community, like when I was making these videos, people just lost interest, right? Like I was documenting something, and people liked it at first, but over time they just move on to something else because nothing ever gets done. There's no resolution to any of these things. They never get to the bottom of it, and it's never really, it's not part of the mainstream media. I mean, think about the politicians who should be talking about this, right? Like, why are all these people dying? They just say it's some crazy conspiracy theory. But it's just, like I said, this just goes on forever. Like I only recognize some of these people that were sent to me, like one or two so far. We see there's lots of young people, kids there. And, a lot of people in their 20s. This hit musicians and athletes and, a lot of these specific type of professions. And, it's mostly all the same thing. Unexpected and quick developing cancer, turbo cancer, heart-related diseases and blood pressure type of things, blood clots. And so these are all symptomatic of something, right? And, there's explanations out there, alternative explanations. Of course, they're never going to be accepted by mainstream medical science. If you were a doctor or you were like somebody like Fauci who was responsible for public health, you would talk about this. Like this would be a crisis, right? Remember how much fear they used about COVID? And yet, here they are like, where there's unexpected after effects, like either from 5G, COVID, or the vax. I mean, it's got to be one or all the combination of those, different, new just the things that were introduced into our society. And yet, nobody's speaking up about this. Like it's like where's like Bill Gates and those guys, like all these people that are supposed to be concerned about people's welfare. So this is all the way back to Ronnie James here. So that happened about, I don't know, like a year ago, last summer. And so, so there it is, right? That happened on July 25th, 2023. So that was a year's worth of, a little over a year's worth of people here. I guess we'd have to go all the way back to October to see a year's worth. And so, there it is. Only spirituality will save this world. It's power bound, definitely important from the apocalypse and the ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.